If you're working in blended or sustainable finance, or trying to move an initiative forward, you've probably realized that understanding the concepts is not enough. What really matters is your ability to structure, position, and advance your initiative effectively. This is an extraordinary time for blended and sustainable finance, as financiers around the world are motivated and engaged, and you are at the forefront of this momentum. Whether you're a funder, investor, advisor, or expert in the field, with depth of knowledge, you'll be able to structure, position, and advance your initiative confidently. Capture the attention of the right audiences and partners. Meet diverse objectives and align with global trends. And collaborate seamlessly with key players across the landscape. The range of topics covered today will help give you the foundational knowledge, as well as the high-level insights so essential to succeeding in this space. Some examples of concepts that will be covered in the course and why they are so important to spend time on. Limited partnerships. Why are they important to cover in detail? It's because you will likely need one if you're dealing with private equity, as it is this structure, that can provide funders with the critical liability protection required by equity investors. Why is learning about mezzanine finance or quasi-equity important? It's because you might need to find these sources of capital to fill out your funding plan. This requires that you can attract and work with funders who accept higher risks in exchange for higher returns. What about fiduciary strength? Why are we highlighting it here? Because if your proposed funding entity doesn't have a long track record or sufficient strength, you will likely need to strengthen the structure to shore up its capacity. For example, by using a depository to handle financial flows. What about holdcos? Why might they be important? It's because these intervening companies may be helpful, for example, to facilitate pooling funds from entities in different countries or using different currencies. What about trust funds? These vehicles, especially multi-donor trust funds, can be useful in certain contexts. There are important features to understand about these vehicles. Here are some more examples. What about evolving standards for impact metrics? If you're dealing with a development organization, you must craft impact and outcome metrics in a manner these funders require. What about scaling? Depending on your funder's portfolio and objectives, you may need to start with a pilot to demonstrate an idea and then fund successively larger initiatives to show how scaling is possible. Positioning your funding relative to, for example, where it fits on the commercial viability chain can be very important. If you're dealing with highly commercial entities, you'll need to understand their financial return requirements and the risks that they fear, because these are the elements that blended finance can help address. You will need to craft the financial waterfall in a way that aligns with different funder objectives. An entity at the bottom of the capital stack, for example, is willing to accept some risks that others are not. As well, private sector entities favor partners who can work at the speed of business. And all parties value clarity and transparency during the process. We dive into all of these concepts in detail in the course. Thus, you will acquire both breadth and depth of knowledge to enable you to structure and collaborate effectively with entities across the development spectrum. Through detailed market examples and exercises, you will master complex concepts. Let's get started.